It's a huge opportunity for you. Tell us a little bit about it and what the imperative is.
Good morning, Rishaad. Thank you. It's a pleasure joining the show. As you know, EV industry in India is in its very early stages of growth. We introduced our first product in 2018, which was the Jaguar EV in the fleet segment, as well as for government departments. And it had been a huge success given the low TCO value proposition that it offered. Similarly, we launched just a year back a vehicle called Nexon EV for the personal segment. And this has been a product which has broken the myths as far as EV adoption is concerned. And that's the reason why this single product is commanding nearly 65% of the total share of the EV industry, which is very nascent, as I said. There are a lot of barriers in the country in terms of the whole ecosystem presence. And I think with these kind of choices, which bring the right balance of price, performance, and features, is really making EV industry look exciting going forward. But these are very early stages. In these last 3 years of our presence, we have been able to now reach a 75% market share. And we have been growing since then, multiple fold times, even in this difficult pandemic period. We have been able to grow 3 times. So I think the EV industry looks very exciting going forward. Yes.
Shailesh, build it and they will come. Is it a case of building the cars and you'll get the ecosystem which follows? Or can you have an ecosystem which will then engender more demand for your vehicles and other EV manufacturers' vehicles?
Yeah, this is exactly the question which we had when we were entering the electric vehicle space. We very quickly realized that ecosystem is a problem that you have to solve simultaneously. Otherwise, you can make fantastic products, but it cannot sell. And that's the reason why we collaborated with multiple group companies to create the entire ecosystem. And what I mean by saying is that you have to create charging infrastructure. You have to have the localized part manufacturing to ensure that there is a sustainability going forward. You have to create cell manufacturing within the country. And these were the challenges that we saw. And this is where we started collaborating with Tata Power, which is doing charging infrastructure for us, not only in terms of bringing public charging, but home charging solutions, which is more important. And that has really helped. Similarly, we have a group company, which is called Tata Automotive Components, which is working on the battery pack, manufacturing within the country, and Tata Chemicals, which has expertise in chemistries, is working on cell manufacturing. So bringing all the ecosystem elements together is really helping us overcome some of the barriers which existed in the EV industry. And this is
so very quickly,
utmost importance.
Shailesh, very quickly, I mean, Morgan Stanley is highlighting at the moment that we could see a battery shortage. So are you seeing any evidence of that in the pipeline? And if you do, will you demand more from Tata Chemicals?
So we have not been witnessing so far any challenge, given that our demand is also not very high as compared to what you see, for example, in China. But in the coming months, we do see the issue of battery because of currently the semiconductor supplies. But otherwise, we have not been facing any challenge as of now.
Shailesh, you talk about how the EV market in India is in its infancy. When do you see a mass market? How soon can that happen?
Yes. So see, if you currently see electric vehicles were 2 to 2.5 times more expensive as compared to conventional vehicles. And that's the reason why we said that if we are able to bring it within 15 to 20%, this can become a mainstream choice. And we have seen with the success of Nexon EV that if you are able to do that, it really works. The second challenge for us would be to bring the prices below $10,000 because that is where the maximum volume in the market is. And therefore, I see that in 1 or 2 years time period, when the battery prices are going to come down, it will be possible that you can create cars less than $10,000 to really service that kind of a market. But at the same time, in next 1 or 2 years, it is important that the charging infrastructure comes in. There are a lot of initiatives which the government is also working on There are ecosystem players which are coming in. And in combination with the charging infrastructure and more affordable vehicles, which bring in 15 to 20% premium price as compared to conventional vehicle, I think we'll find the inflection point very soon.
Shailesh, Tata Motors has a dominant market share in the EV space in India, but that's partly because you are pricing your EVs much lower than your competitors. Can you continue to do that?
We should be able to do that, because we have been, able to make these products on the back of some of the investments that we had made in the conventional vehicle space, and which were electrification ready. And we have just very smartly brought the balance of performance, price, and range. Customers are very happy to have a vehicle which delivers them at least 200-kilometer range, but is able to, deliver a vehicle which is at 15 to 20% premium as compared to conventional vehicle. And that is not difficult to really make it possible. Going forward, it becomes easier because you'll be able to provide higher range as the battery prices go down. So I'm very confident that, with this approach, we will be able to consistently offer vehicles at, this kind of a price point. Also on the back of the government support that we are getting.
There's currently tensions between India and China. Is that impacting EV manufacturing plants in India in any way?
So far, it has not. And, there has been progressive localization that also which we have been working on. There has been absolutely no disruption as of now, as we see today, because we have seen in the last 3-4 months, we have been able to only grow our electric vehicle volumes. So as of now, we don't see any challenge arising because of that.
Shailesh, just looking at this global chip shortage, has that affected your business?
It has not affected our business so much at this stage, but it remains a precarious situation for all of us, given that it's a global issue that the entire auto industry is facing. But so far, I would say the impact has not been that much, but you really see that you don't get that kind of clarity in the coming quarter or so when you talk to the suppliers. And it's a very precarious situation, I would say, but still it has not hurt us to that extent, both in PV industry as well as in the EV also.